Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us today for another episode of Arthur's Roundtable. Super grateful that you're here and that people have been paying attention and everybody's sharing it, and so we're super grateful for that. Big shout out to McGenna, who's introduced me to Garen, and you're going to find his story really interesting, I'm sure, and a fascinating story about building a business alongside some life trauma. So not to be over dramatic, but you'll find out what I'm talking about in a minute. So again, Meganna, thank you for setting this up. And Garen and I had a chance to have a little conversation a couple weeks ago or so about what's going on with his life and business. And so I've got some background, and you're going to, I think, enjoy hearing from him today. He's also been active in the family office community. And so some of you may have heard from him through some of the family office conferences and Richard Wilson and Family Office Club and that sort of thing. And you also may have noticed that I interviewed Richard just a couple weeks ago too. So that was fun. So Garen, thanks for doing this and welcome.
Well, thank you, Arthur, and thank you for having me. My name is Garen Armstrong, and I excited to share my journey with you and everybody, and just kind of taking it back from the beginning. I've been a serial entrepreneur, and I had a software company and sold it to the Department of Defense, and that sounds sexy and cool, but I really just beat out a bunt. And during that time, well, I grew up in the trades. My dad was in roofing, electrical, all of that jazz. My dad got sick with cancer and passed away. My business went to zero. And my mom said, well, Garen, what do you want to do with this business? Like, let's unwind it, dissolve it. And I said, no, Mom, I'm gonna take it to the moon. And so that was in 2016.
How old were you then?
I was
About.
38.
Yeah. Gotcha.
38.
And you hadn't been meaningfully involved in the business up to that point. You had struck out on your own and built a software business, as you mentioned, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And so I went, so when I went into the roofing space and took it over, I'm mourning my dad. I'm rebuilding the business. I'm rebranding it. I'm kind of pulling the phoenix from the ashes type of thing for the first, year. And then in 2018, we had success. We were growing. Then in 2018, I was working a hotel fire that burned down, and I was breathing in this char, and I got a sinus infection that went to my heart. And your body naturally wants to heal itself. So my heart started expanding to the point where the elasticity wasn't there any longer and it couldn't expand anymore. And so I went into heart failure in 45 days. So I was
After
at
the exposure.
after the exposure. I had a sinus infection. I didn't know anything wrong. I kind of thought that maybe I had an ulcer. I'm like, I got an ulcer because I got this big contract. I got to rebuild this hotel,
Right.
And
Little stressful, right? Yeah.
yeah, and so I'm getting off the roof, and I'm getting down wobbly. I get lost on the way to the hospital, and then when I finally get into the hospital, it was immediately code blue, and they pull me in there. And it was just like the movies, you're flashing your kids, your life, everything, and they're like, Garen, like, this isn't good. The only way that you're going to be able to make it is if we try this new technology on you, which is called a HeartMate 3. They have to cut the apex of your heart off, sew this pump on, and live off batteries. And I said, whatever it takes. I've got 3 children. They're 8, 10, and 12, and I got to be here for them. And so they did it. I was the first person to get the HeartMate 3, and
I didn't know
and
that.
yeah,
Is that right? You were the first
the
person. Yeah.
first person. And what I didn't know was I didn't know I wasn't going to have a heartbeat or a pulse. All I had was a blood flow. I mean, it wouldn't have mattered anyway, but I was going to
Yeah.
do
Right.
whatever it took. But I had a blood flow to keep my organs alive while I was waiting for a heart transplant. And I'm O positive, so O's can only take O's, but O's can give to A's and B's. And so it took me 3 years to get the heart transplant. And during that time, they told me, okay, you got you got these big old batteries are like this big, and once those batteries go out, you got 10 minutes
To put a new one in.
to put new batteries in. And so you got this, anxiety, like, oh my gosh, is this going to go out or not? You always carry a backup bag with you, but they wear this bag and put your batteries in there. And I'm like, I'm look like a goober. There's no way. So I'm like, I get these football girdles pants and put the batteries in there and put jeans, so I can put jeans on, so I could act as if I was normal. Like I wasn't normal by any stretch of the mean.
But you were ambulatory, you were operating, you were, did it seem like you were in some sort of distress?
Yeah, no, I was, well, other than the fact of being, I was very healthy, 190 pounds strong. And then I went down from that surgery. It was really tough, a thoracotomy. And then that I went down to like 150 pounds. So then I had to get my strength back up. So, but then after that, then I could work and walk around. I was weak but I kept going because at that time, all I had was the business. I didn't have a trust fund. I didn't have anything set up in place. I didn't have succession planning. All I had was grit and determination and to keep going. And that was actually when I found Richard Wilson in the family office, because I'm like, okay, well, I got this business, I've got these buildings, I've got this other software. Well, and I was watching him. I'm like, wow, I do have a family office. It's because it's all managed by my accounting department. It's a small single family office, but all the elements were there. And so I've continued to work and build Shamrock, leading from the front with the heartmate in and leading the team, and kind of built up the culture of the business from there. Like if Garen can do it, we can do it, and because I was leading by example. I was still getting on roofs, like all the things I shouldn't be doing because I had a cord hanging out of me that could have got wrapped around a ladder and all this.
Yeah.
And so I was still working. Anyway, I was throwing shingles, working on another roof. Ended up ripping this thing out of my heart after it was already sewn in there. Had to go back into the hospital. They had to cut me back open, same surgeon, suck all the blood out of there, sew this pump back in me. And during that time, I got infected, and the infection got all bound around the wires, around the heart mate, around everything in my chest. And I ended up like on a PICC line with this stuff that I had to inject in me that just burned like fire in me, until
Wow.
I ended up working like that until I got so infected that I couldn't work any longer. And I was in ICU waiting on a heart transplant, and not knowing if I was going to get the transplant or if I was going to die waiting on a transplant. And that was December 11th, 2020, when I got the heart transplant. Well, when they came in and they said, "Hey, Garen, we think we found a match." And
And you're in ICU at this point.
I was in ICU at this point. And they came in and they said, "Garen, I think we found a match." And I remember writing that letter to the family of who the donor was, like years prior to, because it was just weighing on my mind. Like, I got to accept this heart from somebody who passed away.
Right.
And been a big giver. I give to, veterans, donate life, American Heart Association, all this stuff. Big giver, but I wasn't like, receiving is very difficult. And here I had to receive the biggest gift of life, and to receive that gift was very hard. And writing that letter to the family was tough. And then so because when they came in and told me, I immediately just started crying and praying for the family of the child they lost, knowing that I'm getting ready to go in to get prepped for surgery. I'm just laying there praying,
Wow.
meditating,
Pretty heavy
and
stuff.
very heavy stuff. And I remember just getting in there and I just praying, and God's like, "Garen, if you don't make it through there, you're going to be okay. If you make it through there, you're going to be okay." And I remember, and then they wheeled me back there and put me out. And I remember waking up and I hear these drums in my ears. I'm like, waking up like, wow. And then these drums, I'm like, this is my heartbeat. I
You
hadn't
hadn't
heard a
experienced
heartbeat
that
in
for
three
how long?
years.
3 years. Wow.
Yeah. And so it was this glorious sound. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. And life was just so beautiful. The sky was bluer, the grass was greener. Everything was just like, it was amazing. And
So, Garen, can I ask you, and this is super personal, so don't have to answer it. When you're going through something like that, one would hope that there's a support system around you. And you had 3 young kids, so they're not exactly adults enough to support you. They're just, Oga, dad's in trouble. Were there people around you that were meaningful, that you were meaningful enough to them that they were there for you, or were you running solo on this?
yeah,
And like I said,
well,
you don't have to answer it
yeah,
if
no,
it's
it's a
personal.
great question. my mom was there and my nonstop. She was always there, right by my side. She still is to this day. I take care of her after my dad passed. She's there to, take care of me. And she was helping with the kids, taking care of the kids, as well as the business, because it never got moved over into my name, because as soon as my dad passed away, she was battling that. And then poor woman, now she's battling, me. So there was no point in putting anything in my name at
Right.
that
Yeah,
time.
that makes sense. Yeah.
And and then and then there were people in the at Shamrock that were also there for me, that was
Nice.
there.
Yeah.
One person in particular is Tom. Like, everybody needs a Tom. He was there, like, ride or die. And yes, we had systems in place. You could talk about systems all day long, but it's that person, that loyalty, that steps up and didn't ask us for anything in return, and was there. And he's retired from Shamrock since. I still call him. I miss him. And but he's an amazing guy, and kind of helped keep everything going while I was gone. And I was able to be there so that I could heal, because I was in the hospital. I got out of there in 1 week, which is very, very fast. But it was
Wow.
December 11th, 2020. It was in the height of COVID. The ICU room, it was a mess. I've been in and out of there for 3 years, like kind of even before COVID. So I knew the doctors, I knew the nurses. I seen what all happened to them during that time. They were so stressed and distraught and everything,
The worst.
that the worst. And so I was like, you know what? I'm getting out of here for everybody. Like, I probably shouldn't have. I'm like, I got this thing hanging out of my neck. Chest is cracked up. I got this pillow to hug. But it's like me getting out of that hospital in a week, right? Gabe was a shot in the arm for the doctors, for the nurses. And it was like they were just clapping, like,
Go, Garen. Yeah. Go.
yes.
Can we talk about? I don't know how this works. I often thought that if you got a heart, you didn't really know where it came from, but you knew where it came from.
Well, not yet. I
Oh,
wrote, so you can write a letter to the parents.
anonymously. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then it goes through Midwest Transplant, and then they can pass the letter to the parents, and then they can decide to reach out to you after a
God,
year,
so
because
it's
that's
their
the
option. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
my donors never reached out to me, or the family hasn't. And you want to, because you want to show them, like, what you're doing with your life. Like, I'm doing this. I'm the chair of the American Heart Association. I'm doing this with my kids. I'm doing this with the veterans. I'm doing this with the business. I'm feeding 2,000 families. I'm all these things. I want them to be proud. Like, do you want to put the stethoscope up to hear your child's heart? Like, it's such a deep thing. And so, maybe I'll write another letter. But but then again, maybe that it's for the best too. I don't know the big plan behind it all. And I
Yeah,
just
exactly. I could see how there would be so traumatized by a loss. Do you know how old the child was?
I think in the 20s,
In the 20s,
young
yeah.
20s.
Yeah, it's pretty traumatizing.
Yeah.
I imagine. I can only imagine. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So after that, then went to focus on Shamrock. Shamrock had phenomenal success. And yes, I've done my part, but, like, for God, what he did in me, God, what he did in the business, to show out. And because there's a lot of people that work hard, favor is not fair. And I came out, and then we grew from 5 to 10 to 20 to $70 million. Like, so we're the top 39th roofing company in the country, competing against private equity backed, competing against big companies in Northeast, roofing companies. And so, to be the 39th, I'm probably the top 15th, 20th independent roofing companies in the country at this point. And so, during that time of running the operations and systems procedure and having my software background, that's when I created Trussi.ai to run and operate not only just a roofing company. It can operate any trades business: roofing, siding, gutters, HVAC, anything. And it's more of an ERP, so it can manage the entire automation across the board. So I created that. So now Shamrock is on it. I saved $600,000 a year by getting off of AccuLinks, the old CRM that I was on. And now I have 50 other roofing companies on Trussi as well, with the goal of having 100 by the end of the year. And so, and with that, is it's also a way to create deal flow for Shamrock to be able to now, because we've grown by greenfielding and organic growth. We're in 10 states and 14 markets. And now the goal is to then take it to grow it to 250, $500 million, so stack 10 other roofing companies my size together on the software that can handle it. Then you have roll up reporting, real time visibility, so you can see which market's performing best, which market is maybe not performing or underperforming. And so then it can take the business intelligence or AI and say, okay, well, these are our best performing marketing channels. We're going to send them into this market where our higher percentage return is, so that we can get this market up. So it's very all balanced to continue to drive that. And so while that's going on, I built out formally Mindspring Ventures, which is the family office, and have continue to invest in other families as I've continued to meet real quality people and families in the family office space. And thank you for giving Richard Wilson a shout out and McGinna. They're just phenomenal people, and the people that I'm meeting from them and through them, it's you're in rooms that I can relate with, because a lot of people don't have the scars that we get along the way, from betrayal in business, from everything that happens in business.
Fraud, betrayal, difficulties, family. Yeah, it's really comforting to be able to talk to somebody who's been through what you're. We talked about this on before, but it's a completely different thing to talk to somebody who has taken a few arrows in the back, like you have, metaphorically, in a variety of ways, and not just have a synergy with them, but gain knowledge on how they handled it. Right.
Right.
Hold it against what you're about to do or have done in the past. So it's kind of like I always laughed at the business of, and I'm going to get chastised for this, but it's okay. Like life coaching,
Yes.
And the life coaches that put themselves out there often have no life experience. Like, come on,
Right. The fake gurus,
Yeah,
right?
right.
Absolutely. It baffles me.
Yeah.
In multiple different sectors. You see it in every sector.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you done this? No. Well, how are you going to tell me to do it? Right.
Right. So yeah, that baffles me. And so, when I go and I give my presentations to speak to people, or speak on stage at roofing events, or speak on stage at family office events, mindset's a general thing, but it's more about encouraging. It's about sharing my story. It's about bringing people together and a sense of purpose and overcoming and empowering and kind of letting my light shine, because even though we're all different, we're still all here together, and we need to embrace that. And we only have so much time here, and I feel like I'm in extra innings, and I want to make a big impact in this world as much as fast as I can, because I have this feeling like I'm running out of time, and I don't know if that's from like medical PTSD per se, or living on that
Probably
machine.
pretty healthy, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I didn't mean that as a pun on your medical experience, but it's probably a pretty healthy perspective that, we are limited and it's short and it could end anytime, as you've demonstrated. And why not be the most impactful while you're here? And you may not be willing to say this, but I'll say it for you. Being inspiring is enriching to people. Like, people will walk away from hearing your story and go, "Wow, I better get my shit together and be more meaningful about what I intend to do in the next 2 days, 2 hours, 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years." Right?
Yeah.
Like, with
Because
intention,
with
right?
intention, because it
Yeah,
happened so fast. I
yeah,
sure wasn't ready for what happened at all. I was 40 years old. I was 38 when I took it over. I was 40 when my heart went bad, and I thought I had time. I thought everything, and
yeah,
it could be as easy as just having some simple outlines of everything, or put in a Dropbox so that everything's at least in
yeah,
one spot.
yeah.
And
So
yeah.
tell us about Mindspring. What's your intention with that?
So Mindspring is Ventures is the family office, ideas thinking forward, and that is holds. That's the family office that holds Shamrock. So Shamrock can roll up to a quarter billion or a half billion and liquidate, exit, hang on to a little bit, whatever. And it funds Mindspring, but then to reinvest into other technologies, other family office. I mean, I've been introduced into so many different opportunities to invest in at this point that are just amazing, that that I'm like, wow, I can't wait till I have my liquidity event so I can, invest in that. And in the meantime, I'm investing a little bit in that so that I've got, my toes in the water.
Right, right, yeah.
In the meantime, still invested in Shamrock and staying laser focused in that so I don't get too distracted. And then it dovetails well with the software because the software is what operates it. And then by having currently 50 other roofing companies on it, it's going to by us for us, and you get comments and feedback on how it could be better, all these different things. And we're getting other private equity backed platforms using the software as well. So it's built out, very powerful, and that's where the focus is at. And it's even more than that because it's not just running a company, it's the data that it has. So that now you have a data as a service play where you have all this information on all of these homes that have been restored after storms or weather events, and that you're able to then have that data to be able to share that to insurance companies for their actuaries so that they can know what's new, what's not, so they can price that in their models when issuing insurance. So it's kind of like instead of a Carfax, it's like a house fax.
Yeah, super cool.
Yeah.
Not only that, if you have all these customers and getting more, what better data to have than their real data to decide, okay, we need to roll this one in or buy it, right? And I'm sure they understand that that is a potential when using your software. So the efficiencies that you experience, even in the early versions of the software, were exponential, right? $600,000 a year is a lot of money, and so
Yeah.
they're probably experiencing some version of that, right?
Absolutely. They're able to save it as well. We've gotten away from the traditional SaaS model. Like, so we don't charge a monthly seat. We get paid by the merchant processor. So if someone's paying $20,000 for a roof, we get paid by that. Or if they don't finance, or if they finance it, we lend on it, we get paid by that, and by the material providers, like, whether it's the siding or roofing or the components, or so the suppliers paying us. For
Yeah.
example, ABC, QXO, SRS, the main suppliers that are providing the material, they're paying us. So we don't need to charge the end user that money because it's already built out. It's like if you go to Service Titan, for example, they're a CRM. They specialize in the HVAC. They're a publicly traded company, so you can see their financials. You pull their financials, and only 25% of their revenue comes from what they're charging as a per seat per users. And reason we're not doing it is because I got tired of being charged that, where it's $150 and then $2,000 for your QuickBook connection, $2,000 for your messaging connection, $2,000 for your mobile app. And it's like they've nickeled and dimed us to death because they had us held hostage. And so that's one thing we're also doing is we're migrating their data for free. We're just so, and it's like, I was scared when I went to do it, and I created the system. I was like, we're about to move 8
Yeah,
years
right.
of
You
data.
architected the system and you're ready to flip the red switch, right?
Yeah. And we did it, and everything moved over like it was supposed to. And it was
Yeah.
like, I love it when a plan comes together.
Yeah, totally.
But it worked, and that was 5 months ago. So we've only 5 months it's been going, and we've got 50 users on it, and we've been using it, and it's great. Works great.
And the compelling reason, the sales pitch to get somebody to come over is no seat charges, it works, and you're not going to pay any more for the supplies. We're just going to get paid from the supplier.
We get paid from the supplier.
Yeah.
And we migrate their data for free, and the data is yours. They started saying that they didn't even own their own data anymore. And that really rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. And so, and it was built for desktop first. It wasn't mobile first. It was just big, clunky, and people outgrew it, right? And so, but what's crazy is they got an offer for $2.2 billion to buy it. The deal fell through by the FTC because Vera Risk is owned by the 30 insurance companies. It's a publicly traded company. They were trying to buy it for that insurance data that I have that I was just telling you about.
Buy the software?
Yeah, they were trying to buy that software. Yeah.
Wow.
And so it may seem like a little bitty niche, but it's pretty big when it comes to information wise and the data play for that.
So why did that fall through? Because of conflict
The
of interest?
FTC said that they would be have too much information on insurance or when there's a sell.
Uh,
And so, I'm sitting here playing with Claude, like, hey, should I have Trussi buy the Shamrock platform to 500 million? And it's like, yeah, because if you do that, then you get around the FTC. You could then sell it to this, and this because you own the data, da da da. And so there's a lot of strategy there that I'm just playing with. And I'm in a fortunate situation to where I've self-funded this. I've self-funded Trussi, got the patent on Trussi issued, so I'm at a point where like a lot of these VC firms that invested in other softwares are reaching out to me saying, "Hey, Garen, are you interested in money?" I'm like, "No, not right now. I'm just busy onboarding clients," and they're kind of left baffled, like, "Hmm." And so I'll give them updates every once in a while, press releases, just so they can see what's going on to keep that relationship warm. But I at this point really just I don't need it. And if any, and then in regards to the roofing roll up, that's white hot with so many PE firms just like vultures
Looking for the
around.
trades, baby. Yeah.
Yeah, looking for the trades. And with that, I've just been slow. I've seen a lot of good things happen, and I've seen a lot of things that fell apart because they didn't structure the deal right. They took care of the guy, they didn't take care of the middle management. And the middle management left, and the company, they're sitting on an empty bag essentially. And so I'm looking for patient capital, family office, or multifamily offices to come, because I have people that we can roll up to get to that 500 million mark, and I have the software to do it, so that it makes the underwriting a lot easier. You can see what their numbers are. Everything's right there and real.
See, seems like, I mean, it's not a prerequisite, but unless they're on the system, they may not be a candidate, right?
You're absolutely right. I mean, they'd have to be on the system. If they're not
Yeah.
on it, then it wouldn't work, because
Again, you're not to say anything, but my guess is the revenue associated with the system far exceeds the overhead.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
Because you're just
Because
paying for tokens, right?
yeah, it's already built. It's already built, and
Yeah.
it's so we're not even paying for tokens on it because it's already built. It was built. It wasn't vibe coded. It was built before that. It's sitting on AWS, and
Yeah.
yes, there's costs to it, but it's not built on an AI platform. It's built with AI built in it.
Yeah. Like agents within it.
Yes.
Yeah. Very cool. Yeah. It's like a Trojan horse. I love it.
Yeah.
Like a good Trojan horse. Not,
Right.
we're
Yeah.
not yeah, we're not going to kill your family Trojan horse.
Right.
Yeah.
With deal flow, it keeps, and so I created this power partner program, kind of, well, so it's a power partner program where, for 50.1% come on board, we'll handle all the operations. You get the software for free. You get my material discounts. You get my licensing, insurance, all of that. So, and our marketing, any marketing that we go into, and from a greenfield perspective, we have a 600% chance of beating that market. And so before we even go to a market, we'll market it for 3 months and like marinate that market, and then we're recruiting in that market. So we're hiring from there. So it's by us, for us in that market. So if we go to Nashville, they're going to be recruiting, we're going to be marketing it, and then all of a sudden, then we're there.
Yeah.
5 trucks, 10 trucks, and we're popped up. So I've got greenfielding down to a science, and that's great, and it grows well. But to stack to get to that 50 million EBITDA mark, that's where I would be bringing on like 4 or 5 family offices to help with the acquisition of other roofing companies that are solid, that are then on boarded on Trussi, so we can see how they're doing, how their market's doing, and to help them. So
What's the multiple? What's a good multiple
so
for you to acquire?
so the roofing industry like knows like that PE's here, buying everything. It's white hot. It's cooled down a little bit. So you're maybe, as a platform, you're looking around 7 to 8, maybe 9. But for a regular roofing company, 5,
Yeah.
4.5, 5. But so they've come down, but the mindset of the owners hasn't came down.
Hasn't come down to reality, right?
Right. So, but that's why explaining to them, showing them the margins, the profitability that they're able to get by being on the platform, the money they save that they're not spending on software that I was spending on software. I mean, $600,000 that goes straight to the bottom line.
Yeah.
Now, not everybody's as big as I am, so they're only spending 50,000, but it's
Whatever. Yeah.
yeah, it goes straight to the bottom line. And so if you and the money they save from the economies of scale in buying in supplies, buying bulk, and not having to worry about operations costs and all of that. So, and explaining them the second bite of the apple, keeping the leverage low, like so that there can be a successful exit to at $500 million.
Are the statistics in the roofing business similar to electricians and HVAC, where there is a high percentage that are aging out?
Yes, there's a high percentage that are aging out, and that's an issue within the trades for sure. And that's why bringing as much technology in as possible. One thing that we're working on with Trussi is also we're bringing in drones, so that these drones have thermal imagery in them, so that we can see. If you fly them at dark, you can see the water. It'll light up in there, so you can see where the water infiltration is. The other thing is also seeing anomalies within, and you have a sliding scale that can say with a 95% chance this roof has hail damage or wind damage from the drones. So we can use that imagery that is then embedded into Trussi, so that we can then use that imagery to communicate with, like, so in-house sales team, like, so you're not sending.
Outbound type stuff, right?
Yeah, so you're on the Zoom, you're sharing, you're talking to the homeowner or the business owner, and you're like, here are the videos, here's what this is, so you can point to them and explain to them this is how we're going to fix it. So then you're just sending your technicians out there. So ultimately, you're having less people get on the roof, which means lower your insurance, which means less chance for
Injury, yeah.
injury. And so that's one thing. The other thing that we're doing is we're even having some goggles, like glasses, so they're recording, so that we can like train brain, like, so we have like train the brain, so when like Opus or Optimus, like the robotics start to come, they're being trained already, kind of how to do some things. I mean, we're not there yet, but planting that seed, playing with that is something that we're working on, because it'll get here before we know it. And we want to be cutting edge of that technology, because everybody's got a roof over their head.
Totally, yeah. What's the labor issue like?
So the labor issue is, we've got a lot of crews, got crews and spades. It's great, but it's still, prices are going up because it's getting harder. Usually how pricing works with trades is, in residential specifically, you may pay a base price for a 6 pitch, which is not that flat. I mean, which is kind of flat, and then
Yeah,
it goes up, and gets more expensive as it gets more risky. Or
totally makes sense. I hadn't thought about it that way, but totally makes sense. Yeah.
yeah,
Is it a skill issue or a risk issue or both?
it's a risk. It's both.
Yeah.
It's all the above. And I mean, as well as the person that's putting the roof on, right? As long as they're allowed to be able to be here and put the roofs on, finding skills.
Big problem, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I think a lot of trades are suffering from that.
it's a real issue.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that we're blessed on, because we have crews in spades. So we have plenty in all markets, but it's still something that we're working through
Yeah.
constantly.
Yeah. People are getting bounced out pretty regularly.
Yes.
Yeah. It's a challenge. Challenge a lot of businesses, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's a fine line. So I have all the trailers, tools, all the things for everybody.
Yeah.
But the way that the insurance has it set up, and the way it is, it's, corp to corp, right? Because, hey, if you got your insurance, you got your license, then great. Here's a contract. The contract was provided by the insurance's attorneys. So it's clean, so that everything's good between us, OSHA, DOL, all the governing bodies.
Yeah.
So
There's other regulatory issues
yes.
to deal with. What's that add? Is that add like 20% onto the price?
Yes, it does.
It's just a guess, but that would be my guess. Yeah.
It's expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's a dangerous job, right?
It's the seventh most dangerous job in the world.
Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It's dangerous. And it would be a prime position for robotics. Like
Products, yeah.
if we could get there, and that's why I'm trying to train the brain with the glasses. How they're doing it, everything, how they're cutting around the valley, how they're cutting around the chimney, how they're cutting around, because it's a lot of art too. It's
Oh yeah,
y-
it's very skilled. Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, you just
So
can't have somebody up there hacking away at it, right?
right,
Next thing you know, you're coming back 6 times because it's
you're coming
leaking.
back. Yeah,
Yeah.
at
The
that point,
flashing, the whole thing, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
at that point, just tear it off and redo it again.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Right. Exactly.
yeah. So I think the robotics would be a good play on that, and I'm working on that. That would definitely save a lot, but it's a trade, but it's an art. I mean, I don't know how you wouldn't just upload a manual in it, and let it go. But we're working our best to come up with ideas. I think right now, even if we could figure out a way to get the material off the roof, because that's the hardest part for the crews, is getting the material off the roof. And then because in installing it, it's more they're
Yeah.
they're harnessed up, they're on their knees, they're 6 nails per
Yeah.
shingle, and it's good. But when you're up there on the roof, you're literally ripping it off with a pitchfork, and ripping it off while you're standing up there, and
Oof.
sometimes it goes out from underneath you and
Yeah.
you're going down
Yeah. Yeah.
till
Right.
till your harness rips you up. Yeah,
Yeah. Rough stuff, man.
yeah,
Yeah, the guy that started Uber just announced that he's building robots for mining because that's dangerous too, right?
yeah.
Yeah, so it's coming. There's no question about it. Yeah.
Yeah, and so this would be a prime spot, and we're working on it, training the brain so that if there is a robotic that we can put on it and just kind of start playing with it, that would be a good. I mean, you're bleeding cutting edge at that point, which is, you know, problem with being bleeding cutting edge sometimes is it's hard to get.
Early adopters suffer from you, you can't do that. Yes, we can.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, it's probably
So
good. Yeah, well, you and I talked about the data too. The data is so valuable.
the data is more valuable than gold,
Yeah,
to be able to provide that back to the insurance carriers, back to the manufacturers, and we even have a homeowner portal, right? So that the homeowner, a lot of times they don't say they bought the house from somebody. They don't know. Well, this could then be transferred over. So they know who did the roof, they know who did the siding, they know who did the garage doors, who did HVAC. So then they have this everything right here together. So then when they
great
pass it
idea.
off,
Yeah.
yeah, and so just and it keeps it a sticky client. You have a sticky client so that you're able to keep going there again.
Naturally, they'll just call the person that did it.
Right.
I mean, anecdotally, that's what happened to us. Like the people who built this house, the fan went out on one of the air conditioning, compressors, right? And so I had to ask the neighbor who he uses, and that's how I discovered he uses the guy that installed it, right? Which is
Yeah.
perfect, right?
Right.
Yeah,
So yeah, and it happens, like, except the water heater guy. Sometimes you got the water heater, sticker on there, and so that's
yeah.
like, well, let's make a digital, like, let's have it all together. That way there's a portal, and that way if they have a question, they can, hey, the other thing about Trussi also is it takes the weather data. So if there's a storm that goes over New York and it hits, say 100,000 properties, it'll let us know, hey, you have 100,000 clients that got damaged. We literally hit the button, it'll pop up the map, show the pinpoint of the all the people that were damaged, pull up the list beside it, and literally our sales floor, customer care, call center, whatever you want to call it, will sit there and start calling the homeowners. Hey, just calling, let you know you've been impacted by the storm. And then would you like us to come out there and inspect it? How bad was it? Do you have any leaks? These types of things. So then we're already out there.
That's amazing. Is that
So that's part
satellite
of the patent.
technology? Yeah,
It's pulling in NOAA data.
NOAA data. Yeah,
Yeah. And so it's then it has that. So you get the storm data, the hail data, the wind data, all of it. And then you overlay that data with coal information data, so you know exactly, if they're not your clients, even you got who they are, their information, to contact them, to let them know, hey, you've been impacted.
super cool.
Yeah. And then
So
you get
what? Go ahead.
boots on the ground to go and inspect it, to actually verify if that was damaged. Was it soft hail? Did it just hit and splatter, or was it hard hail and it went through and it made a hole through all the way through the sheathing?
Yeah. Amazing. What types of things interest you presently for MindSpring to put, little drops of money into things going forward?
Love it. There's some really cool. I like technology. I like the technology play around drones. One of them is spatial internet. Like it's like creating latitude longitude points in the air every foot, right? So that drones could then fly
Ah, very cool.
RFID, like instead of GPS,
Yeah.
so that first responders can use them. It also helps identify like swarm attacks from drones. So it's a defense type play. That's one thing that I like. I like innovation that can scale up big, that can impact our society. Obviously there's some private credit. Not, I mean, you hear a lot of bad news about private credit right now, but I'm talking about more smaller scale private credit for family offices or business owners, right, that are not on the scale of like the KKR private credit that are putting these
Right.
3-year redemptions on your money that
Right.
people invested in. But I think that's a big thing because banks are kind of going through something right now, and so there's a big opportunity for.
Yeah, the regulators aren't letting the banks lend. It's basically that simple,
Right,
right?
right. And we're a capitalist country founded on capitalism, and it's what's enabled us to grow and innovate. And I'm a serial entrepreneur, and I want to be able to give back and help back these entrepreneurs. And so that's why I like that aspect of it. So those are some of the parameters that I'm looking at into in with MindSpring. There's been some technology within the oil and gas, like some mixture you can put in to open up clogged wells, making them flow again. So that's a green play as
Yeah.
well, but still based upon oil and gas.
We're going to have oil and gas for as long as you and I and our children and their children and their children. I mean,
Yes,
everything is based on petroleum. Let's
yes.
just face it.
Yes, and there's the best practices out there are clean, right? They so clean. So
Yeah.
and we produce so much of it. So let's be thought leaders in that space. And so there's some really cool things that are out there that I like. So that's really I want to be able to once you make your own money and you hang your shingle per se in the world. The last thing I
Literally, that
want to
was a
do
nice
is
pun, Garen.
yeah,
Hanging shingles.
the last thing you want to do is go give your money to somebody to go put it in treasuries,
Yeah.
or put it in, some fund, an S&P fund that's weighted, balanced by Nvidia. I'm like, how's that even like?
Yeah. Right.
It's laughable. But I want
Yeah.
to be able to invest it and control it myself,
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Do you find that for example, the people who are on Trussi now, those size businesses, and I don't know exactly what they are, but do they, aside from buying a truck and a trailer and some equipment that you can probably get bank financing from, are they looking for growth capital?
they are. One is a success story. I mean, he started at like $3 million. He came over on Trusty. He's like, oh my gosh, and then he's in the middle of Ohio, and he can open up 2 other offices on the edge of these cities. And I've been there before. So I get excited, like, okay, this is what you do.
Yeah.
You open up this one, you open up this one, you move right here, you have, and I just like literally laid out the game plan for him because I've been through it. I've done it, so I
Exactly what
help
we
it.
were talking about. That
Yes.
conversation with you is worth 20 years of experience. Like, that's so valuable, right?
Yes. And
Yeah.
so now he's going from, whatever it was, 3, 4 to 8 million to 20 million. Like his trajectory is just straight going like that. And with being on Trusty, and I coach him, and that's it, So that's just one of the people that I would, like to get on the platform to continue to grow. Because
Does
there's
he?
more people like that I can help get through their sticking points.
Yeah. Did he need money to grow?
Yes, he does need money to grow, need more trucks to grow, but the demand of business is there, and it's, as when you start getting that big and you're waiting on funding to come through, whether it's insurance money,
Right.
you become a financier yourself,
Right.
because we've paid the material supplier, paid the laborers, and so we're
Right.
the last to get paid. So in essence, we're just a roofing financiers.
Really interesting. How long is it? I imagine it depends on the insurance company and whether there's a debate, but does it take 90 days to get paid for insurance company or 6 months?
90 days most of the time.
Yeah.
And then some, it could take 6 months, more a few.
Yeah.
And those are like if you have to do a lot of supplements or they're fighting not to pay for whatever reason. But the insurance market is changing. What the pendulum has swung so far to the opposite way, right? Like State Farm's getting sued for RICO in Oklahoma. They're getting sued from the fires in the Palisades, like because they're not paying,
Right.
and yet they're still making all this money and they charged all these premiums. And that's just one of them. I mean, so the other insurance companies are too. The Wall Street Journal came out with the article called The Flip of a Coin. The insurance companies are only paying out almost 50%, less than 50%. It used to be like 65%, but they've cut back and then they've increased their premiums so much. Or sorry, they've increased their premiums, but they've decreased their deductibles. So it's just as cost them just the same to pay retail for the roof than it does to use insurance for the roof.
That's really interesting.
And
Yeah.
so even though a lot of it's driven by weather, there's still the insurance is not covering it, or it does, but they're not using the insurance because their deductibles are so high. Then it comes down to the onus is on the homeowner to pay for this roof. And so then the question is like, okay, what about the mortgage company? If I'm a mortgage company and you're requiring them to have insurance on their property, protect that asset. I'd be like, okay, well, you can't have State Farm or Allstate.
Right. Right. Yeah.
You're going to have an insurance company that
Hey.
that
Yeah. It's
pays.
not going to fight us on the thing.
Right.
Yeah. Because it's in their best interest not to have the place uninsurable.
Right.
Right. Or so degraded you can't live in it.
Right.
That's really interesting. And so what percentage, this is just me being curious. I don't know about it, right? What percentage of your business is it's 25 years I need a roof as opposed to some weather event?
So most of it is it's a healthy mix. It's probably about 75 to 80% weather event, just because nobody wants to replace their roof, right? Like
Yeah.
it's the last thing they want to do. They want to drive into their garage, shut the garage door, and not think about it,
Right.
but until it leaks or whatever. So
Yeah.
they notice it, like it probably needed to be replaced already, but they didn't even notice it until they had this wind event or weather event, storm that came through and caused it. That then was the impetus to say, hey, we finally got to call our roofer. Fine, we'll
Yeah.
call you. So and now with a change for the insurance, they used to just insure. They used to insure the property, without looking at it and say start paying and start charging premiums. Now at least they are looking at the property to make sure the roof is insurable. So and so which is a good thing, because now when transactions are happening, buy or sell happens, they're like, yes, we looked at it, and before we can sell the property or buy the property, we have to get the roof replaced to get insurance. So that's a good thing.
Yeah. It is a good thing. It's not a surprise, right?
Right.
Yeah, exactly. So I asked you before I hit the record button, how you feeling? Because everybody asks you how you're feeling.
Yeah, I feel amazing. I'm blessed. I'm fortunate. I ruck 5 miles about 4 times a week, where I can just go get mental solace, put my weight vest on, and I walk, and I just stay and I walk. The doctor said, because I was real fit when I went in there, doctor said, we don't want you looking like Arnold Schwarzenegger. We want you looking like Patrick Swayze.
Yeah.
And so I said, okay. So they want me lean. They go, yes, we want you lean, because there's less blood flow. Doesn't have to go through so much.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, all you have to do is walk. I mean, if you decide you don't want to do all the other stuff, walking does it, right?
Yes.
It's really a good option.
Yes.
Yeah, we do it every day too. Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Yeah, we
just
go to the
great.
gym for an hour and a half and then we walk, right?
It's everything. So good for the mind. Be out in the nature. Just take it all in. If you're having a bad day, go walk. Anything.
Yeah.
Go
Yeah.
walk. So
I'm not sure there's very many bad days for you. There certainly isn't for me, because I have a pretty good mindset about that stuff, but you're probably having a lot of good days.
I'm blessed. I am. I'm a lot of good days for sure. And the doors that have been opening, the things that have been happening, it's just almost like a dream. It's a miracle. It's like, how am I getting in these rooms? And then it's just like, it's not even, it's like escape velocity. It's just like pulling me up now. And
Yeah.
the people I'm
Nice.
getting to meet, and it's just everybody's stories and their connections and everything else.
Excellent.
And I just get to be me and share my story. And I just want to be a light for as long as I can to
Yeah.
help shine brightness in any dark corners of the world, and help and raise money, make money to be able to invest money to help enlighten those dark corners of the world.
I think it's a noble pursuit, Garen. I'm really glad we had this, our prior chat and this chat. I super appreciate you doing it with us. I know the audience will appreciate it. Thanks for
Well,
being so forthright with sharing.
yes. Well, thank you for having me. It's been great to be here, and love and enjoy our conversations, and look forward to seeing you in New York and getting together.
Yeah, come out to Park City. I'm in Park City right now.
October 5th or 7th, the 5th
Yeah,
through 7th.
we'll be here.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Perfect.
yeah, do it.
Looking forward to it.
Another big shout out to McKenna. Thank you. And thank you, Garen, for doing this. And thank you all for joining us today. Till next time.
Thank you.